Hey, folks, welcome in to Put Me In, Coach. Big episode for you here today. I'm Jesse Inman, joined by Chris Pinson. Chris, we're going to be talking a lot of Chiefs today. Big news. Really, the last couple of weeks has been horrible for Chiefs fans in Kansas City, Missouri, I would say.
It's been awful, dude. Like, look, I moved here a few years ago. You've been here a lifelong Chiefs fan. You can name all the different terrible quarterbacks before Patrick Mahomes got here. And now with the biggest news coming out Monday, Jesse, I don't know how to feel, but I know how Chiefs Kingdom feels.
Yeah, a lot of it's split, I would say. Some people not seeing it as a big deal. And I said right there at the top, horrible couple of weeks for really on the field has been bad. And if you're not familiar with the news, the Chiefs have announced their plans to move to the state of Kansas, the great state of Kansas, in the year 2031, leaving Arrowhead Stadium on the clock, I guess you could say. 2031. We got about 5 more years of Arrowhead. And today, we are going to be hearing live here on the show from, that's right.
Live?
We're taking live calls, baby. They're just going to call me, my cell phone. I gave them my number.
That works.
We're going to be hearing from Chiefs season ticket holders live on the air today who live here in the Ozarks. And I think it's important to hear from people in our neck of the woods, Chris, because they have a different perspective on what this means. Like, as far as the Jackson County versus Johnson County, Kansas situation, moving across state lines, like, they're not impacted by the entire tax portion of that in a local or county sense. So it's more of a traditional Arrowhead, the experience they get that's going to really change for them.
Fact. And sorry, guys, I'm a little under the weather, hence why I sound terrible. But the show must go on.
Yes.
Put it this way, right? I had several interactions on Twitter, which, of course, is a wonderfully unique place.
Everyone's rational there all the time.
Of course, super rational.
Yeah.
But look, as one guy said, he goes, look, they're moving 25, 30 minutes west. That's about it. And that's the truth, right? You're not moving west like, of course, the St. Louis Rams did, and you're abandoning Missouri. Right. However, here's the deal. For anybody like Jesse or anybody that's grown up here, going to Arrowhead basically since the dawn of time when that place became the Mecca that is Arrowhead Stadium back in the 60s.
That's all I've ever known. That's all I've known.
When all you've known is what you've known, you don't like change, right? You don't want to say, well, because again, Missouri, could they have helped the situation? Probably could have. Could Jackson County have done that? Sure, they could have. Mm-hmm. So I certainly side with the people that, again, remember what happened with St. Louis, like our former coworker, Steve Savard. To this day, right, he was the voice of the Rams the year or two after they won the Super Bowl as the greatest show on turf. And you ask him, he and anybody else who worked with that management, who saw them purposely, run that place into the ground and then make sure they could move out, for people like that, they still hold a grudge. And so I don't blame certain Kansas City fans like yourself who've only known Arrowhead and said, it's not that big of a deal, but to us, in our hearts, it's a big deal.
I think now that more details have come out, and we're not going to have time to get into all the intricacies of the star bonds and the tax districts that are going to be redrawn on the Kansas side of this to include multiple counties. And, there's so much detail in that we're not going to get into today because we just don't have the time. But as the details come out about what Kansas did to pull this off, Missouri had no chance, honestly, when you look at it. If you're the Hunt family, you're going to accept a big fat bag of cash.
Always.
They would be stupid not to.
Correct.
So, Missouri really in this, and there it is, it says it all. All smiles from CEO and Chairman Clark Hunt with Governor Laura Kelly of Kansas earlier this week on Monday when that news was announced, donning the big red 31, signifying 2031 is when that stadium will open.
Just feels so wrong.
Yeah, and they're still in the very early stages of what that will look like. They don't. Clark Hunt said earlier this week they don't have an architect hired, but we have seen renderings before of what maybe they'd like it to look like on the Kansas side of things. We have some video of that was released a year or two ago, around the time that the whole Star Bonds thing kind of got started. Going to be a dome over on the Kansas side. Kansas paying for 60% of it. This will be in Wyandotte County. The headquarters and practice facility will be in Olathe. And it's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, mixed-use entertainment district all around, hotels, bars, restaurants, parking, all of that going to be there. And again, folks, this is not an official rendering by any means. This is just what they had. These are just some renderings that we had seen when the details kind of started to come out a little bit ago. But Chris, what we want to hear today is from the season ticket holders who are, to me, they're the ones that are as affected by this as anybody. I mean, of course, the folks in Johnson County, Jackson County, and beyond, they're in that area, they're affected. But I wanted to hear from people in the Ozarks who are season ticket holders. So I put out the call on social media, and I heard from a lot of people joining us right now. And Chris, this is our first ever live caller on Put Me In, Coach. Exciting stuff there. Joining us now on the phone is Tyler Watterson. And Tyler, you reached out to me on social media. How you doing today, by the way?
Well, I wish I could say I was feeling merry, but the Chiefs have kind of put lumps of coal in the stockings of a lot of folks who treasure Arrowhead Stadium and just all the rich history and tradition and everything it represents. But other than that, doing wonderful. How are you?
We're doing pretty good here, Tyler. We're glad you could join us today on the show. I want you to kind of explain what this means for you as a season ticket holder. Can you start by telling us how long you've been a season ticket holder?
Well, I bought season tickets. I actually work at a small town radio station here in good old Ava, Missouri. So right here in the Ozarks.
Go Bears.
92.1 FM, if I'm allowed to plug that real quick. And actually, we used to be a Chiefs Radio Network affiliate back in the 90s when it was actually predates Mitch Holtis. Kevin Harlan was the voice of the Chiefs then, who now, does stuff for TNT, CBS, all kinds of sports all over. And anywho, we used to be an affiliate, and then we weren't for a long years. So one of my first things when I started working at the station was trying to get the Chiefs back on the air, and was able to do that. And I think the year 2013, right when Andy Reid actually came to Kansas City, coincidentally. And then I started looking into it, and it was the year 2016 when I became a Chiefs season ticket holder. Started crunching numbers and whatnot, because I would always go to games each year, and so made it happen. And this was, of course, I guess a year before we drafted Patrick Mahomes. So became a season ticket holder then. I'm 38 years old. I've been going to Chiefs games as early as I can remember at Arrowhead Stadium. So my best memories taking place there. And, of course, we've had a very, very wonderful run here over the last 7-8 years. And I participated in all the surveys they sent, because as soon as that the tax wasn't passed there in April of 24, I just had a very I'm pessimistic in nature, but I had a fear that this is the door opening for allowing them to leave. So I participated in every survey that they sent me via email, pleading not to leave, renovate, whatnot. And it's kind of the worst fears coming true. And I fear for what, number one, it's already about a 3-hour and 45-minute drive from my place to the stadium. Yeah. It's going to add time onto that. But the pricing, and, people are starting to hear these term PSLs and get familiar with what they are, and having to buy the rights to have your seat before you even pay for the season tickets. And I have a very real fear of just being priced out of being able to go to games. And it's a lot of anxiety. It's nervous times in the old kingdom.
Yeah. Chris has a question for you here, Tyler.
Hey, Tyler, listen, we got about 2 minutes to go before our first break. So I want to ask you this. Do you feel... Were you so surprised that former Kansas City Royal star Frank White was kind of behind, downing that last April pass for the tax?
It's it stinks for people who've grown up both Chiefs and Royals fans, because obviously Frank White, part of those great teams in the 80s and whatnot. And him being one of the voices behind shutting this down, and ultimately, what is his legacy going to end up being in Kansas City? Because 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I don't. The average fan is probably not going to think of all the accolades and wonderful things he did while wearing a Royals uniform.
Yep.
They might associate him with being one of the voices and champions behind turning a tax down that was not, and this was not an increase in everything. It was just continuing something that was already in place. So it hurts. It hurts the fan heart in me, and just the logical sense of it, of why. And everyone has their agendas, and you can look at it from multiple different ways. Was the plans great that were presented? No. Obviously, there could have been a lot more detail behind it and a lot more clarity. But this is the risk you run, though.
Tyler, I want to ask you before we jump off here to our first break, and as quick of an answer as you can, are you going to renew your season tickets?
Next year, coincidentally, they each time the Chiefs have made a Super Bowl, that's when my prices went up. Don't have to worry about that this year, so I'll be very interested to see my email in February on what the cost will be for 2026.
Okay. Well, we'll see where things go there, Tyler. We got to take our first break here on Put Me In, Coach. Want to thank you for joining us here, Tyler. Thanks.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for help bringing awareness to folks here in the Ozarks who, are affected and feeling rough about it right now.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, thanks for joining us. We're going to take our first break here on Put Me In, Coach. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here on Put Me In, Coach. We are hearing today from Chiefs season ticket holders here in the Ozarks. Again, I feel like people in the Ozarks have a different, unique perspective on this because they have to make the commute up to Jackson County and soon Johnson County over on the Kansas side in 2031. We heard from a season ticket holder in Ava a few minutes ago who, as we heard, he's a little bit disheartened. And we're joined now by a friend of mine who went to high school with, in full disclosure there, in Republic, now lives in Battlefield, Dakota, with us. Dakota, how's it going, man?
Doing good, Jesse. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, and we're happy you're here. Voicing your thoughts as a season ticket holder. Obviously, a lot of stake and investment in the decisions like this that are made. Can you start by telling us how long you've been a season ticket holder and what it means to you and your family, how many tickets you have, and so on?
Yeah, so I've been going to Chiefs games since I was 2 years old. I'm 30 now. So 28 years of experience going. We've had season tickets twice in my lifetime. So for about a decade growing up, then we took a break. And then we've had them again since Mahomes' rookie season. And we got 2 tickets total.
Gotcha. Okay. So when, you've obviously been getting emails and things from the team and you guys you go through the hoops of what the team sends out as far as surveys and such. When you heard the news this week that they were moving to Kansas, how do you feel about it? Do you care? Does it affect you? Does it affect anything about your season ticket membership?
Yeah, so I care a lot about it. Honestly, it was a ton of emotions for me. Like I said, growing up, going to games since I was 2, made a lot of family memories there, met a lot of cool people throughout my time going. People season ticket holders I sit around, everything like that. And I think it's one of those moves that, like, for the state of Missouri, it stinks. Just the fact that we're losing out on another professional sports franchise. And as far as, like, how it's going to impact us, it's one of those things that now that they have the PSLs in place and those are going to be per ticket, our tickets, they cost around $5,000-$6,000 now total for the 2 tickets.
Wow.
And going forward, I mean, if we want to be able to keep those, which we're not going to be able to, it's going to be like $26,000.
Wow.
To be able to do those. And so it's just one of those things where, like, we're going to get phased out. And I'm sure there's thousands of other families that are in the same position. So it just kind of sucks to be able to have to go through that and know that the clock's ticking on the amount of games that we are going to continue to be able to get to.
Caleb, let's roll that Arrowhead video. So where are your tickets in the stadium? I know you threw some numbers out there. Where do you guys sit?
Yeah, so we're in section 107, row 4 and row 5. So we have 2 seats, not right together, but they're close enough to interact with each other. And so we're lower level, same end zone as the tunnel, just
Gotcha.
on the visiting side. We look straight down the visitor sideline.
Gotcha. Okay. And for people who aren't familiar with what a PSL is, can you walk people through what that means to you, like how it affects you?
Yeah, so basically what that means is I forget exactly what it stands for, but basically it's like a personal seat license, I think is what it is.
Yep.
And it's fees that they add on to your ticket that you have to pay for, and you have to have the license before you can actually obtain the seats themselves. And so it just complicates things. It's basically another way for the organization itself to make money, which from a business perspective, it's like, smart move, but your average Joes are the ones that get impacted the most, not the billionaires that own the organization.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where the frustration comes from of it.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Dakota. Hey, this is Chris here. For you and the family, okay, what is your favorite memory from Arrowhead? And what do you think about the future generations, right? You know, maybe your children or others, right? They're going to grow up in the new stadium. Like, do you already think, man, I'm going to have to be the one to say, kids, you won't believe it, but, you know, years ago, man, that stadium we used to have, that was the loudest in the country.
Yeah. So that's a loaded question because I have so many great memories. I've been to all the AFC championships.
Wow.
Every playoff win that the Chiefs have had in the Mahomes era, I've been at. Probably my favorite memory was actually the game that we broke the record against the Patriots on a Monday night. And
the
I was able to be there.
142.2.
Yeah, 142.2. So I was able to be there for that. And that's just such a fun core memory. And for me, like, I got 2 little ones of my own, and they're both under 4 years old right now. And so we've taken my oldest to a preseason game, but like now that they're moving, we're not going to be able to go to all the games that we get to every single year. It's going to be one of those things where, you know, maybe if we're lucky, 1 or 2 games a year at the most.
And now why is that? Is that because of cost?
Yeah, to me, it's just a cost thing. I mean, I've seen the ticket prices just in the short stint that we have had them over the last 5-6 years, them increase every single year. And they were already getting to the point where I was considering not renewing them next year. And then now that everything's going to happen over the next 5 years, like there's certainty that we're not going to be able to maintain them just simply out of cost.
Yeah.
Caleb, do you think it's, look, right? Or sorry, Caleb, Dakota, thank you. Dakota, look, right? We understand, right? We are a capitalistic society. You understand that changes, right? Things get more expensive versus not supply and demand. But do you think that at some point a professional team should say, hey, look, right? You've been with us since we were right down in the cellar. We were terrible. Do you think at some point an organization should say, you know what? We want to give our longtime season ticket holders a break?
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be awesome. But from a, like, if you put your business cap on, they're going to do whatever is best for the whole organization. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And yes, it sucks that, like, we have been so loyal over these years, but at the end of the day, like, it is a business, and players themselves see that every day and every year. And this is just one of those rare times where the fans are the ones that get impacted by it.
This man's a realist. He's a legit real person.
He is that Republic high school education. Shout out,
go Tigers.
Dakota. Last question for you before we let you go here is, I know that there's been a level of doom and gloom, we'll call it. Is there anything about a new, shiny new stadium that does excite you as a Chiefs fan?
Yes, I mean, I think it would be nice to have being able to have extra, opportunities to get Super Bowls, Final Fours, things of that nature, and the district itself they've mapped out as what their plan is and vision is. I think will be really cool. I think that's something that Arrowhead currently does lack, and that's part of the reason why Jackson County went through what they went through. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, like, football is football. It's an outdoor sport. It's meant to be in the cold weather. There's supposed to be, sub-below zero temperatures and everything like that in January and February. And those are some of my favorite memories, is bundling up in 5-6 layers to go to Arrowhead and watch a football game. So,
I'm with you, man. Yeah.
Definitely something I'm going to miss.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll enjoy it the next 5 years while we have it. Speaking
That's
as
right.
a Chiefs fan myself. Dakota, appreciate you jumping on here
Thanks,
on
dude.
Put Me In Coach and talking to us. So we'll
Thanks,
let you get
fellas.
back to Christmas Eve with the family.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the holidays.
All right, man. You too. Thanks. All right, so there you go. A couple of voices, and I do want to say this about what we've heard today. It's the pessimistic side, I guess you'd say. I talked to somebody earlier today I know who, I mean, yes, he's sad about it, but he understands. And there is a guy Dylan that I know who you'll hear from him on ozarksfirst.com when we write up the reaction article. He's very similar in the fact that he's a realist. He understands this, and yes, there are positives that are going to come out of this for Chiefs fans. So. There are. I mean, cost going to the game, the experience. Yeah, the cost is gonna suck for sure for the average person who maybe is already feeling the squeeze of that. But you know, when the game day experience itself, I just don't want to make this a we all get around and cry together type of thing. I mean, while seeing the Arrowhead history go is gonna suck, yes, but there will be good things about this. There will be.
Okay, so Jesse, again, you can name You can name every terrible quarterback you've had before Mahomes. So you tell me, what are you most sad about, but what are you looking forward to most?
I've been very open about this on social media on my Facebook page. Cost, I'm concerned about, as we've discussed ad nauseum here today. Tailgating, I feel a little bit better after hearing Clark Hunt talk about and address this, that they are. It seems like they're going to be committed to making sure people can still tailgate if they want to.
Okay.
What that looks like, will it look the same as it does now? I doubt it. We don't know yet, but I doubt that it will. Because why would they want you to bring your own stuff when they could...
Bingo.
You could be spending your money in the mixed-use district where the Chiefs, by the way, will be getting a ton of revenue, all the revenue of what we're seeing as far as what's spent in the stadium. So, and then the other thing was... the atmosphere as far as outdoors. Football's meant to be played outdoors to me. So every stadium in the AFC West will be domed in a matter of years. So
okay, so let me jump in here. Okay, I want to say this. Okay, I want to say this real quick. I understand that obviously, like you, right? People are upset that we're going away from outdoor stadium settings. But I will say this, and with my business hat on. If you're the NFL, right, if you're any team that wants to host a Super Bowl and you generally play outside of a southern climate, uniformity makes the most sense, right?
Yeah.
So the stadiums will be shiny, they'll be domed, they'll have every technological advancement we have right now. So I'm not mad about it being domed because obviously 65,000, 80,000 inside a dome is going to be loud as crap. But I understand it does take away from the difference and the uniqueness of each stadium.
And weather plays a huge aspect.
Always does, doesn't it?
In cost. Because if it's too cold, people don't want to go. They don't want to. So you can get a last-minute ticket cheap. Last thing on this, before we shut it down today, is Nick Wright, this big Kansas City.
Yes.
He echoed what I've been thinking, is that people who are saying, oh, yeah, now Kansas City gets a Super Bowl. Will they? I mean, maybe one. Minneapolis got one. Why in February in Kansas? What is there to do? I mean, what are we going to... I don't know. I don't live there, so...
If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
That's all I can say.
I feel like we could go another half hour, another hour on
easily.
This. But we got to wrap it up here on Put Me In, Coach. We'll have more reaction from fans in an article I'm going to be releasing later today on ozarksfirst.com. We'll do this again next week, Chris. Thanks for watching.
See ya.